Hey Fed heads, welcome to another episode of Cigar Chat, broadcast live on YouTube and around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network. This week we aren't actually live on Facebook like we normally are, but the video will be available on Facebook a little bit later this evening. Tonight we are here with, I'm waiting on my guest host, so he should be here shortly, but for now it's just going to be me and our guest, Rick Rodriguez from CAO Cigars. How you doing, Rick?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm great.
Hello, everybody.
I'm here smoking the Amazon Basin, which, of course, is, as we talked about before the show started, it's got kind of a cult following. We'll get to that a little bit later. First, tell us a little bit about what you do at CAO.
All right. So, really quickly, I'm the blender for CAO. We took over the factory about 8 years ago. CAO and General Cigar merged together, and once that happened, they approached me to start the blend for CAO only. I was blending for with Michael G and Yuri with Lagoria, and so when the opportunity came up, we just shipped me to Nicaragua, and I started to blend for CAO. And the first year was fun, but exciting, but a lot of feedback. There was a love affair for CAO. They were concerned that General Cigar was going to take them over and just change everything, and that is not the philosophy for General Cigar. So hopefully, they agree that we're just doing the right things for the company called CAO.
Yeah, there's always kind of some apprehension when there's an acquisition like that, and I know I was nervous because I've been smoking for about 10 years, and I had just kind of gotten into CAO when they got acquired. I think CAO has gotten better since merging with General Cigar.
I think we learned a lot from our first couple of launches. What the fan of CAO wants from us, and so that is our focus, to deliver a product unique to the market, because that was what CAO was known for. Exotic tobaccos, first time using the tobacco from Brazil, the first time using it from Italy, first time using it from Germany. So we just wanted to keep that in play, and I think it's worked for us.
Yeah, these days that kind of experimentation is a lot more common, but back then CAO was the only company that was doing crazy stuff like that.
I agree.
And of course you continue to raise the bar with stuff like the Amazon Basin.
Thank you.
I have a question about when you first got into CAO, what was the first cigar that you blended for CAO?
The first cigar that we launched under the CAO umbrella in General Cigar was Osa. That was the first cigar. And that was a story that we tried to tell using this unique tobacco that we, for the first time, used this wrapper from St. Augustine, in Nicaragua and Honduras. They're a border farm, and so we just wanted to utilize that. And so if you look at that presentation, we're trying to tell a story through the box itself, because if you look at the box, it's white, because it was the only place that when we went to the farm, they have a whitewashed barn, and I've never seen a whitewashed barn. That's the reason the box is white. And the river running through the farm. And so if you look at the box, there's a cutout of a river. But the blue and white didn't match, didn't kind of lay there. So we just are turning it into a green and white box. The green represents the tobacco. The river, cutting it out, that represents the river and the farm, and the whitewashed barns are representing the white box.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that much thought went into that box design.
As a matter of fact, if you look at the band and the cigar, there's some coordinates on the band. If you go to your computer and put those coordinates into your computer, you'll see the farm, and you can see all the way to the barns, and you can pull back and see all the farms. So it's really a neat thing that we tried to do with CAO.
Yeah, that's really neat. So let's talk about the cigar that we are both smoking, the Amazon Basin. This when this cigar came out, I think nobody really knew what to expect, and it immediately became like a cult following where people were searching for them. And then I believe it was last year that they relaunched with the second vintage. Okay.
Yeah. The fall of last year, and I'll get into the spring of this year. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the blending process like for tobacco from the Amazon?
It was crazy because you know, we have a tobacco buyer, Ernest, and this guy is responsible to seek out new tobacco for General Cigar. And so he kind of found this tobacco, and automatically he said to you know, everybody in the General Cigar, I have the tobacco for Ricky to use because the tobacco is so unique. I don't think it fits anybody else's line but CAO. So we received the tobacco, and it's kind of crazy how we start to deal with that tobacco, because it's the first tobacco that General Cigar has ever received that we didn't do any extra fermentation, any aging, and so we're ready to use that tobacco right away. But that was one challenge, because the other challenge is how to utilize that tobacco. Because the tobacco, if you've never seen it, comes in a tube. And this tube is about 4 feet, maybe 5 feet long. It's about this thick. And so we didn't know how to deal with the tobacco because it was packed. The way they pack it, it almost, it's just, we couldn't divide the tobacco up. And so we had to shave it. We needed to kind of figure out how do we put this tobacco in our cigars. And so we went through every suggestion that the factory guys were suggesting. Well, if we shave it, we cut it, we do this. Bro, it was unbelievable. So we started with a blend of maybe 80% of this tobacco. And it was too potent, too strong. It wasn't getting the balance or showcasing that tobacco the right way. Today, it's only about 40% of the tobacco in the blend. But it was the first time that General Cigar and our team had to make a cigar reverse, because we now needed to focus on a filler versus focusing on the wrapper and choosing the right fillers to enhance that wrapper flavor. So this technique, we have to reverse it. How do we use this filler, make a cigar with a great wrapper, but also let that tobacco come out and speak for itself?
Yeah, you definitely, with something like this, you don't want something where the tobacco used for the wrapper is going to be the main focus, because then people aren't going to be thinking about the reason that the cigar even exists.
Yeah. So we, you know, we went to, you know, I think we played, we're about 5 different wrappers. We're always coming back to the Sumatra. The Sumatra just added what we thought the tobacco needed. And so Sumatra, you know, especially from Ecuador, it tends to overpower the flavor of your cigars. So we had to go lower primings to showcase the flavor of the tobacco that we're getting from the Amazon.
Sure. And we've got a boatload of audience questions. If anybody's watching live on Facebook, I put out the call that we are going to, at the end of the show, I'm going to pick a random winner from the people who asked the questions. The prize will not be provided by CEO. It's from Cigar Federation, or CAO rather. It's from Cigar Federation. But I just wanted to get some extra audience questions. So let's get into some of those. So Jason Raybuck wants to know, he's curious, what got you into blending cigars? How did you get started blending?
Well, that's a great question. You know, bro, when I'm doing events, that question is asked at me all the time. And I can say this. When I did an event, if there's over 2 people, I'm the dumbest there. And so I'm the smartest of the group, but I am one of the luckiest guys in the world, because I'm doing something I truly love. And so I was a rep for about 4 years for General Cigar in Florida. And Mr. Coleman, the owner of General Cigar, had the foresight to understand that we need to prepare for the future. And all of our blenders or cigar masters were either retiring or leaving the company. So for whatever reason, Mr. Coleman approached me one day and said, "Your days of selling cigars for General Cigar are over." I thought I was being fired. And his next statement to me, before you answer this question, I want to give you the opportunity for us to train you to become a blender. And so that just rocked my world, and it was off and running. So I spent 2 years in the factory training in the DR in Honduras. But the true training came when I picked up my old master, Benji Menendez. And Benji is a legendary tobacco guy that really taught me the art of blending tobaccos together and making a blend. So I owe this gentleman my life.
Wow.
I really do. Yeah.
That's a really interesting story, because not many people just get kind of plucked out of sales and right into what you love. So
Yeah,
he said you don't have to sell cigars anymore. It looks like you're out there selling cigars today.
Every day. Every day. Every day. But you know what? I'll say this. I have a job. It's called work, but I don't have another word to replace what I do. Because what I do is enjoy cigars, the company of great people, and to offer, the situation to talk to these gentlemen and ladies about what we do in the factory really, really makes me happy. Because at the end of the day, when you come to one of my events, what I don't want to do is be a commercial for CEO. CEO stands for itself. We know CEO makes some great cigars, so if I can help the consumers out there enjoy their cigar by sharing some knowledge and information about what we do in the factory, that is really, truly my #1 job, is to share all this great training that General Cigar put me through with the consumers of the world, and try to enlighten them what we do behind the scenes to make the blends.
Sure, that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about the CAO Consigliere revival. I was really excited. I think it was on this show the last time you were on that you kind of revealed that was coming back, and I was really excited because I loved the original. So that's the same blend and everything, right? You just took the branding off?
Well, you know what? It isn't, because if you really behind the scenes understood what CEO did, was when HBO approached CEO about this new TV show that they were doing with the mobsters, and the main character, Tony, was going to be a cigar smoker. Do you want to team up with us and make a cigar? And called it Sopranos. And of course, CEO thought the opportunity was great, so they said yes. And so they blended this great cigar, this great blend, but it lasts for only a year, because the original deal was for 1 year only, because HBO didn't know that if they're going to continue the show, and so CEO and HBO agreed 1 year only, and we'll get back to you. Both the cigar was a hit and the show was a smash.
Oh, yeah.
And so they approached it the second year and said, you know what, let's do it again. And so, perfect, let's do it again, without going to Brazil and asking, do we have any more tobacco? And so when they signed the deal, before they talked to the growers said, we don't have any more of that wrapper. Because remember, back then, this is 2004, 2005. That was really the first couple of years that the Brazilians were getting into growing wrapper. They were known for filler, but that was the first year that they were trying to grow wrapper. So unfortunately for CAO, when they launched the second blend, the second year, they changed that wrapper to Connecticut broadleaf.
I thought I remembered it being broadleaf.
Yeah, it really changed the image and the smoke of that cigar. So when we decided to bring it back, we had the two opportunities. One, we can do the original version using the Brazilian wrapper, or we can use the Connecticut broadleaf. Smoking the two, there's no comparison to the two. Matter of fact, when we launched that show, it was such a hit. We oversold at the show, and we sold out of the show. And so today, the orders are still coming in every day, every week, and we're just happy that we just gave back to the fans of CL what they were screaming to us for the last 5 years. When are you going to bring my cigar back? I love my cigar back. You know what? If the timing's right, we're going to bring your cigar back. And that's the story behind that line.
And I have to ask this just because I'm really curious. Are there any plans to bring back that really cool collector's set that came with like the champagne bottles and it came in the trunk?
You know what? I think in the future, we would love to do that. And I think one of the things that when we did Blood's cigar, a lot of people asked me the same question you just asked me, because either they got one, they loved it, and the other one is because maybe they didn't get one, but they want one. And so it's kind of unique. And so we could definitely do it. It's a timing. When do we do it and why? What's the reason? Maybe when we enhance a new size, we'll do something like that. Okay.
And let's get back to some audience questions. Actually, before we do that, we're going to take our first break here. Rick, this is just a break for the radio. We're not going anywhere. Cigar Chat is brought to you by Cigar Oasis. Cigar Oasis are the market leaders and innovators in electronic humidification. Are your cigars protected by Cigar Oasis product? Set it and forget it today. All right, so now we're going to get back to some audience questions. Harley Holmes wants to know what the thought was behind the CAO Flathead. And he says they're, of course, great smokes. I mean, they've been killing it in the last couple of years.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what? That was a unique situation. Quick story. I tried to make a long story short. We were working, typically, it takes us about anywhere from 6 months to a year to come up with a new blend, design the packaging, everything involved in launching a new cigar. And we're working on a new blend that we just couldn't get it right. And so I approached at that time, the president of General Cigar and the VP of marketing and said, I know we have to have something to launch at the show, but the original plan that we want is not working. And so I elect not to do it. And so they said to me, Ricky, if you take this project off the table, you have absolutely nothing to launch at the show. Unless you have some crazy idea. Matter of fact, you only have a month to do this if you have it. I said, I do. Because when I do an event, it's amazing that one of the questions or what we talk about is either cigars, of course, watches, jewelry, cars, women. And so, all right, stop. A lot of people are talking about cars and women to me. So I just thought that this crazy idea of a flathead engine, because I'm an old school guy. I love the old school pinup girls. I love the old school engines, the old school cars. And so we just started to work and focus on kind of developing this new crazy idea called flathead. And we just really focused, the team really focused on this the cigar, and General Cigar got behind it, and we launched it. And it was a hit the day we went to the show. Everybody loved the sizes. They loved the packaging. Of course, the cigar was rated #3 in the world 2 years ago. And then the rating of 95 was the highest rating that General Cigar had ever received. And so it's just kind of catching lightning in the bottle. Everything was perfect with that cigar. So the fans, I just want to thank the fans for their support of that cigar. Today is the #1 selling cigar for CL.
Wow. I love the spark plug size in that one. That cigar is fantastic. And the packaging is perfect.
Well, that's a great, that's, okay. Every manufacturer, when you ask any manufacturer of any cigar, and it's multiple sizes, there's always one size that they're going to say, this represents truly what I believe the blend is like, or I want it to be like. So the size, the smoke, the body, everything. And so we launched the original 4 sizes. There was always something, you know, there's just one size we're missing. We have all the way down to a you know, like a Lancero, all the way up to a 7x70. But we're missing that quick cigar smoke. And so to me, my favorite size right now of the line is not the 6x60, the highly rated and highly, you know, coveted cigar. It is that spark plug. I think that cigar represents what we try to do with blends. Hey, bro. Welcome.
Hello. This is Shad, my guest co-host for the evening. How you doing, Shad?
Good. How you doing, Trip? Sorry I'm late.
That's all right.
Don't worry about that. Life gets in the way sometimes, bro.
Well, it was getting in the way of my Amazon basin. I was waiting to light, so it was kind of chaffing me a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're all smoking Amazon basins, by the way.
Oh, excellent.
But if you look at, you know, if you look at the flathead blends, what a lot of people don't know is we have 2 blends in that line, but we're using the same tobaccos but different primings. So if you look at the piston and the 5x54 and the spark plug, I'm using Lajero. But if you look at the 6x60 and the 7x70, we're using Seiko. More flavor, less body. So if you're a body guy, go to the smaller sizes. If you're a flavor guy, just go up to the 7 or the 6, and I think you're going to find the cigars completely different, but you're going to love the cigars anyway.
And what about the Steel Horse? For people who aren't familiar, can you explain what the difference is between the Steel Horse line and the regular flathead line?
So when we launched the flathead line, of course, I was saying, you know, this is based on the old car engine that Ford introduced in the 30s, the flathead engine, and they all got it. But a lot of guys were coming up to me, what about us? You know, who are you? And we're bike guys. And I said, bro, you know, you need to check your history because it's based on a car engine called Ford flathead. And they said, you need to check yourself because Harley introduced the first flathead engine in a bike. And I didn't know that. And so did some research. Harley, I think, introduced a flathead engine 10 years before Ford introduced the flathead engine. So, of course, when we talked in a house about extending that line, it was a natural for us to do something for the bikers, and that's the reason we chose the name Flathead Steel Horse. And so, but the blend is totally different. That is going to be a brown cigar versus the box press cigars that is coming out of the Flathead original line.
Okay. And here I've got a question. You already kind of answered it, but I just wanted to ask anyway. Do you do any blending for any of the other General brands, or are you completely exclusive to CAO?
Now, you know, General Cigar has a team of gentlemen that is connected to all the factories. So we're always kind of sharing cigars and sharing blends, and I want your input. I need your input. So why not? You know, because we have some great gentlemen and ladies behind the scenes. So it would be kind of it's just wrong on my behalf to say I know exactly everything about tobacco. So why not utilize these guys? So we're always changing or smoking. So the DR would send me a cigar and say, we're working on this cigar for X, you know, company, or maybe a McAdoo, Cohiba, Partagas. All right, smoke it, and I'll give you my opinion. And we'll do that for Punch and Hoya, but they also, I do it and they do it too. So no, I don't blend for anybody else, but I did definitely share the cigars that everybody's doing because we want the input from everybody.
Sure, you participate a little bit, even though it's not something you're really responsible for. You participate a little in the blending process. Shad, do we have any audience questions that you could ask?
That's my role in all this. I get to ask the audience questions.
It is. You've got a job here.
Just read the questions, bro.
God, dude, I thought I was just gonna sit here and smoke the cigar and listen and learn. Let me get to them real quick.
If you don't have an audience question, a question of your own would be just fine.
And a question of my own. Actually, I do. Because when I found out that I was gonna be on here, I read naturally a little bit, and so I'm really kind of interested in. And I didn't realize that there was a Cigar Masters program, a blending program, the school.
There is, but that's not the way I was trained.
Okay, and maybe the article had mentioned that because you were in sales for a few years, and then I think, and then you were called to the big dog's office, and he said your sales days are over, and you thought you were going to get released, and he said, "Now we're sending you down for some education and learning."
Right. And that really started. And so, if you look at my history and the guys that really affected my life, there's some legendary names that helped me do my job. We can go back to Percanessa. Percanessa is the original guy that planted Cuban seeds in the Central America. And so this guy taught me about growing tobacco. And he's a legendary, farmer. So that's one guy.
Wow.
And then we have Chris Creo, really taught me about fermenting tobacco and his knowledge of receiving tobacco from the farm and when it's ready to be used. That was a training that I could never replace, and thank this guy for. And then you have Benji Menendez, the an owner of a Cuban factory and called H. Hutman. He shared his knowledge with me. Of course, Mr. Coleman and Danielle Nunez, the president of the company for the factory. This guy has, shared his knowledge with me. So if you look at me, the guys that touched my life and helped me do what I do today, 4 of these guys are in the Hall of Fame. 4 of these guys. And that's unheard of for anybody to be trained by 4 Hall of Fame guys, because what happens typically is the grandfather passes the father, father passes the son. And so maybe the grandfather is a Hall of Famer, but that is not right now. So I've been blessed, and I've been trained by 4 Hall of Fame guys, and what an honor. What an honor.
So, and I guess that kind of answers Jason's question as to how you got into blending cigars. From what I understand, your cigars kind of skipped a generation in your family.
Yeah. So my grandfather and grandmother were rollers in Cuba. They moved to Tampa in 1953. Why? Because Tampa at that time was started to outproduce more cigars using Cuban tobacco than Cuba was. And so my grandfather was laid off from his factory. And my grandmother said, we can't support our family on one income. Let's move to Tampa. So my dad never smoked a cigar in his life. He's a cigarette smoker. So that skipped that generation. But I have great memories of entering my grandmother and grandfather's house, and the aroma of cigars were always there. My grandfather smoked 1 cigar a day after work, and my grandmother smoked 1 every week on Sunday outside watching the kids play. So my image of my grandmother right now is she sitting on a chair watching us play with a big cigar in her mouth. But that's my grandmother. So I thought every grandmother smoked cigars, everyone, But being in Tampa, a lot of my friends' grandmothers did smoke cigars because everybody's working the factories at that time.
That's awesome.
So I've got a question from, I did have a question here. I lost it somewhere. So I'll just ask one of my questions. How's the Palone doing? We were talking about that yesterday on our pairing show, and I think the Palone just doesn't get enough love because that's a fantastic cigar. And as far as I can remember, I just don't hear a lot of buzz about it recently.
You're right. You know, it has its spots, and you know, like every cigar that everybody launches, you know, you put your best effort into making that blend. Sometimes it catches fire. Sometimes it just, you know, it's okay. And like okay on sales, not okay on the blend.
Yeah.
But we're happy. We're very happy with the sales of Cologne. It still is growing every year. So not like the leaps and bounds like, you know, Amazon Basin did or Flathead did, but it's definitely not a line that we're going to look at in the next 2 or 3 years as they grow. It's run its course. It's done.
Good.
Vary it. There's enough sales. There's enough product out there that everybody's enjoying. To me, it is one of my favorite blends because I know how hard we worked on that blend because it's a new a process that the tobacco called a circular cologne that it was used hundreds of years ago in Cuba, and the only reason they get up on this situation is because it's so labor intensive. So if it takes me regularly maybe 6 to 9 months to ferment tobacco, using that process, it takes us about 12 months to 18 months. Lower temperatures, slower cooking process, but the delivery and the flavor is just unbelievable. And so we're still proud of it, but I agree with you. I should do more with that blend and really get it out there in more hands, because once you smoke it, bro, this is a good cigar. Great price point, great blend. I don't know why we pass it up or I let it go, but we need to do a better job.
And the packaging on that one is fantastic too.
Simple. It's just simple. You know, it's, you know, it's again, our belief is to tell the story of that line. And if you look at that line, and we're going to share a situation with, you know, fermentation that hasn't been done in 100 years. What was the boxes look like in 100 years ago? It was simple. It was a, you know, a cabin style wooden boxes. It was just simple. And so it's the only cigar that I have my name on. And so it really is a cigar that we're really proud of. We're really proud of. If you haven't tried it, do yourself a favor, pick one up, smoke it, enjoy it, and realize what we're trying to do with that cigar, and as far as blending and what we're trying to offer you guys.
Yeah, I think the Pallone for me is probably the best bang for the buck, or one of the best bangs for the buck out there. It's very reasonably priced, and for the price point, it is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
But there's a lot of great cigars in the market right now that you know, people just overlook. And so, you know, again, if we had the recipe for what we need to do to release a new cigar, do this, put it in this box and this presentation, we all do it. But you know what? Sometimes you got that situation that is on fire, and sometimes it doesn't work. But we believe in that blend, and we're going to keep it around for a long time.
Good. With that, we've got to take another station break here. Cigar Chat is brought to you by Gurkha Cigars. Gurkha, makers of the world's finest cigars. Try the 93 rated Heritage today, or try the new Heritage Maduro. Gurkhas are available at all B&Ms where fine cigars are sold.
Wow, I thought I was going to get to read my Gurkha ad, but maybe later, huh?
No, you'll get to read the next ad, so get ready.
I don't even know where those are located.
It's not located anywhere. It's located in your brain, buddy. So I'm getting close to it, and I've never smoked through the band on one of these. How do you feel about that, Rick?
You know what? It's up to you. Because
what do you do?
Realize what that tobacco is. How do we make that band? So if you're looking at a wrapper, every manufacturer, when they use a wrapper, they're always going to trim the outer edge of that tobacco. Maybe a little bit of maybe an eighth of an inch of that tobacco. Mm-hmm. Why? It makes your cigar look better when you roll it. That's one reason. And we believe that that is where the bitterness is in the tobacco. And so we just trim it off, kind of like a butcher. Before he sells you a great steak, he'll just want to trim out some of the fat. Keep some of the fat, but just trim it off. And so that's the reason. And so a lot of guys, I've seen guys lately smoke that cigar backwards because they want that flavor.
Somebody at my local shop told me to do that.
Really quickly. Yeah, so they don't want to wait. So I see a lot of guys flip their cigars around and start with smoking the head of the cigar versus the foot of the cigar. You know what? Great. And so whatever you want. But to me, I tend to take it off. But a lot of people said, bro, that flavor just really adds to the cigar. So I would say to you, smoke it through it one time. You decide if you like it or not.
All right. What's your take on that, Chad?
On the band?
Yeah. Did you smoke through it?
I have not smoked through it, but I have not removed it either. And maybe tonight is the night that I'm going to give it a shot. I would be interested because I've smoked a lot of the ORs. I've smoked just a few of the new releases. And I haven't done it yet. I guess maybe now is the time. Yeah, it's interesting to me that we're this far into the show, and probably, at least in my mind, and I think some of the audience's minds, the flagship for CAO right now has got to be the Amazon Basin. It was really the release was much anticipated of the next one coming in, and Bob Dog actually had a question along those lines as what's the future of the Amazon Basin? What's it look like?
I can share this with you. We're definitely going to release it again. When we're working on that right now, when the next release is, but it's going to be this year, and it's going to be in the fall. And so you're going to have one more opportunity to receive Amazon Basin. But there's a new cigar that we're going to launch, and the details are going to come out next week about this new cigar utilizing some unique tobaccos from Brazil. And one of the fillers is going to be the Brazilian tobacco in this new blend. And so look forward to that. Unfortunately, I can't really share a lot of details with you guys. But I think next week everybody will know what I'm talking about, and look for this new blend coming out for CAO because like Basin, it's going to be a short release, and it's going, by the time it reaches the shelves, it's already been purchased. I think it's going to be like the Amazon Basin. No more. When we launch an Amazon Basin, they're taking orders before the delivery. So that's the reason a lot of guys and girls out there that haven't ever smoked it, because I can't find it, because the release is so popular. The minute we release it, we sold out, and they're all already purchasing that cigar before it gets to the shelf. And we think the new cigar is going to be the same thing. So look for this information coming out next week. But I'm telling you guys, if you like the Amazon Basin, you need to seek out this new cigar that we're going to introduce to the market very soon.
All right, guys, keep an eye on Cigar Federation next week for that that news release.
Be fine.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So kind of a question that I have, and I think that I would probably ask every manufacturer that comes on, and every blender that comes on CigarChat, is there's a big trend right now I see it with different companies of bringing back, because of the FDA, bringing back cigars that were once limited release or discontinued or no longer produced, and pumping them back onto the market. And I know in 20, I think it was like 2014, General discontinued about 250, 263, somewhere in there, cigars, and I think there were probably in that, there was 10 CAOs that were discontinued. Are there any plans in the future or anything that we should look for as far as those cigars making a return to the market?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that like everybody else is going to have to do that. We're going to do that. And you know what? I don't want to scare somebody when we said it's an old blend. You know what?
School over there.
You know what? Sometimes old is new. And so if you look at a punch cigar,
Yeah, I still live here.
to me, a punch cigar is a great cigar.
I used to.
And so, but because it has been around for 40 years, oh, it's my grandfather's cigar. It's my father's cigar. You know what, bro? Do your fucking self a favor and smoke one, because the only reason a cigar has been on the market for 40 years is because it is a great blend. And so rediscover some of these blends, because it's not their fault that we kind of let certain blends die, because we're launching so much. Everybody's launching so much. But these shops can't keep up with everything. So it just slips off the shelf. So I think everybody's going to do it. We're going to do it, but I think you're going to be surprised that we're going to launch a blend and say, "This is great. This is fantastic." Yeah, bro, that was introduced back in '85. Really, really. So I think you're going to be surprised.
Yeah, and the age of the guy that smokes punch after work every day is pretty much over in the larger scheme of things. At least there are still people who do that, but for the most part, cigar smokers want to have a variety these days. That's just the way the market's going.
Right. But you know what? In our library, we have so many blends that we can continue to offer new cigars and exciting cigars for people that have never smoked in that blend. So it's going to be new. It's going to be exciting for you guys to be able to get your hands on a blend that you haven't smoked in years or never smoked it. So do yourself a favor and try it. Be your own judge. Don't let us judge for you.
Hey, there he is.
It's up to you to pick that brand and say, you know what? This is a great brand. This is a great cigar. I don't care if it's from 1972 or today. I don't care. If it's a good blend, I enjoy it. It's my cigar. It's my cigar.
Grab some matches.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Chad, do we have another audience question?
We do. Mike McCain would like to know, when it comes to pairing cigars with meals and drinks, what do you like to do? How do you go about your pairing?
You know what? You know what? You do what you want to do. If you want to pair your cigar with a Mountain Dew, if you want to pair your cigar with a Scotch, if you want to pair your cigar with milk, who needs to say to you that is a wrong pairing? If you enjoy that pairing, it's a great pairing for you.
Or even a tangerine soda.
But for me, I love to do iced tea, sweet iced tea. I love that pairing for me. Root beer, I love root beer with pairings. And then coffee. To me, a cup of coffee and a cigar really is the best pairing to me that I can pair my cigar with.
Perfect. That was going to be my my question. I was hoping Chad was going to go for that one because I was wondering that myself.
Everybody's palate is different. Everybody's palate is different. So, you know, again, I smoke a lot of cigars, but I've never smoked a cigar for you. Don't care. I don't care. I like the cigar I'm smoking. I love the cigar. So everybody can go to any humidor in the world and say, I love this cigar. This is the #1 cigar made in the world. Somebody else is going to say, that's the worst cigar ever made in the world. And somebody's going to say, you know what, I don't like this blend, but I like this blend. So, again, your palate is your palate. Enjoy your cigar. I don't care the price point. Of course, General Cigar hates when I say that. You know, buy more $5 cigars versus a $10 cigar. But you know what? At the end of the day, if you like a $5 cigar, smoke it. If you like a $15 cigar and you can afford it every day, smoke it. I don't care. I don't care. Why should I care what you smoke? You know, because at the end of the day, I don't know your palate. So you do, and so pair your cigars with what you want to pair and smoke the cigars that you enjoy. Yeah, that's it, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna get off that.
Shad, I think we have one more audience question that I wanted you to ask because it was another one that was on my list of questions to ask.
And it's from the audience question?
I can ask it if you want.
Are you talking about maybe the best summer cigar picks?
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to the CAO line, Rick, what would be your 5 best summer cigar picks?
For CEO only?
I would say expand that to all cigars.
There you go.
Even if they're not brands that you're at all involved with.
You know, you don't understand. I'm a cigar lover before a cigar employee. So I've been smoking cigars for 30 years. And so I just got into business about 20 years ago. And so I still continue to smoke other blends, other manufacturer lines, because number one, I enjoy cigars. Number two, can I steal that blend if it's a comparator? But we're all doing that. So, you know, for me, if I had to choose my top 3 for CEO would be Cologne, number 1. Number 2 would be Flathead. Number 3 would be Cigar right now. I'm smoking a lot of those. Number 4, reaching outside my line, Fuente and Padron. I think Padron makes the best cigar in the world right now. You know, I'm not even close to approaching that level of that blend. And so one day I hope I get there if the FDA allows me. If not, bro, thank God they had that cigar in the market so I can enjoy that cigar. But I think Fuente, Padron is making some great cigars. Rocky makes some great cigars. You know, Alan Bradley. Bro, I'm a cigar geek at heart. So I just love cigars.
There's not many people in the industry who are exclusive to their own brands.
Why? Bro, sometimes I have thousands of cigars in my house. Thousands. Sometimes it's like going to your fridge and opening up. I don't want that. I don't, you know, sometimes I go to my humidor. I don't want to smoke a CO. I just want something different. So I always are purchasing other lines that I hold true to my heart. And so yeah, I'll definitely reach for that. Because every once in a while, I don't want a steak. Maybe today I want a pizza. And I don't make a pizza. So I'm going to seek that pizza out somewhere. So if that manufacturer gives me what I'm looking for, it's outside my line, I'm going to enjoy that cigar.
Great. That brings us to our last station break. Shad, who is this segment brought to us by? Do you know?
I'm going to guess that it's brought to us by Gurkha?
No. It's brought to us by Drew Estate.
That was the other one.
They good. Smoke them.
We're like on the opposite spectrum now.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, go on the safari, man. It's great.
Oh, they just opened up ticket sales yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Buy a ticket now.
Talking about pairing, I'm smoking the Amazon Basin, and I'm pairing right now with this.
Oh, your tangerine lime?
Yes. You know what? Not bad. Not bad.
I mean, a lot of people look down on it.
Yeah. What's that?
A lot of people look down on it, but I think citrus pairs pretty well with cigars.
Bro, there's a lot of flavors in cigars, citrus. And you hear that term a lot used. And so I think for me, it's working right now. It's working right now. Maybe tomorrow.
For me, the sourness and like the kind of bite that citrus has brings out a lot more sweetness in cigars.
Yeah.
Which I like.
So we're just setting up for the event tonight here, and we're doing the consigliere, and these guys are going to be a while tonight. So we're looking forward to going back inside and doing my thing.
Well, and I know Jason, one of our viewers, he asked a couple questions. He said that you're going to be in Pittsburgh, I think the 22nd, near the end of the month. So he's looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, I think I have a week in Pittsburgh coming up, and Pittsburgh, for some reason, stole my heart. And so they have a lot of fans, for CEO there. So it's kind of like going home for me. And so I love Pittsburgh. I really do. Hate their football team, but love their city.
Chad, you got any more questions?
You know, I do have one. I'm pretty interested in how the development came from the angry Santa, evil snowman.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Wow, that's a great question.
That
came
hit the
about.
market. Go ahead.
That came about when we took over CEO. One of the questions was asking me was, "What's your favorite CEO cigar right now?" I said, "Brasilia." And at that time, the president said, "I'm telling you, make me a version of Brasilia. What would you do different if you had to change something and update that blend?" And so we created a cigar called Carnival. And that was my first introductory to blending a cigar using that same kind of flavor profile. And so that was a hit. And so what we did was, when we launched Angry Santa, was the updated gold. So we just took old blends and tried to update the blend and say, if we started today with trying to do gold today, what would we be like? Because gold was launched maybe 20 years ago. And so what would you do different? But keeping that same profile like a mild cigar, I would use this. So not changing the blends completely, but adding one or two things to enhance the flavor. And that's the way that we started that bunch of the Angry Santa, Evil Snowman, all these lines that we did.
Very cool.
I had another question on my tongue, and now I don't remember what it was. Oh, the CAO America. Is that still around, or has that been discontinued? I'm just asking because I don't see it.
No, it's still around. Very popular in areas that have a military base.
Oh, I could absolutely see that.
It's just amazing. But that blend is still around, and it's top 10 of our line. And so either though it's not everywhere, the numbers where it's at is making that cigar still very popular in our line.
You made it?
Yeah.
Good.
So was I gonna come?
We have one more audience question. Let me find that one. Which CAO cigar was the most fun to blend for you? I think I already know the answer.
Amazon Basin.
Yeah,
Amazon
that's
Basin.
exactly what I thought you were going to say.
You know what? Yeah. It was so unique tobacco, so difficult to work with. When we got done, we were so exhausted, tired, and it was just a great time. A great combination of everybody getting together, everybody working from the tobacco buyer, Ernest, to Johnny Diaz was involved, Michael Giannini was involved. Everybody came to our help to make a cigar that was going to be unique and different. And so today, there's no other cigar that you're going to ever experience. Every cigar out there, if you say, I'm smoking XYZ in your line, Ricky, what is close to it? We all have cigars. Oh, this is going to be in the ballpark. But this is so unique that if you come out to anybody else and say in the shop, I just smoked an Amazon Basin. In your humidor, is there anything? The answer has to be no. There's no other cigar that's going to give you that experience, that flavor, because it's so unique.
And that brings us to the end of our Armed Forces radio segment. I want to thank all of our Armed Forces listeners listening on the Armed Forces Radio Network. Rick, where can people find you online if they want to get more information about CAO, or if they want to follow you?
Just go to our Facebook page, CAO Cigars, and find me there. And if you ever ask them a question, we have a team working on that site. They'll definitely reach out to me. The question was asked today. this, and I'll give me about 24 hours, 48 hours to respond, and we'll definitely answer that question for you guys.
Great. Any closing questions or comments, Shed?
Well, as an old timer who smoked for 28 years, right? So I'm right up there with you. I tell younger smokers all the time, today is the best day in the past 3 decades to smoke cigars with the variety that's out there. And it's really refreshing for me to hear and to see Instagram posts, to hear you say, I enjoy other blenders' cigars. I'm not exclusive to mine, because the stuff that's out on the market today, including Amazon Basin, the Polone, and some CNO stuff, I mean, it's just really, really good quality.
Yeah. Everybody's making great cigars. Every manufacturer has access today that they didn't have 10 years ago. Great tobaccos. Great tobaccos.
After smoking through the boom of the 90s, this is just a dream come true for me.
I love you guys. I love you guys, and especially if I can say, you know, it's a little late, but happy Memorial Day to everybody, and especially the guys and the ladies that serve this country. Without you guys, I can't do my job, and I love my job. So thank you so much for everything you do for me in this country, and thank you for, you know, spending so much time away from your family, protecting us from the evils of the world. I owe you guys a cigar. The next time I see you, I'll definitely buy your first cigar. If you reach out to me and say, I'm in the military, the first cigar is on me.
All right. And I need to pick a winner here. Now that so that's the end of our Armed Forces Radio Network segment. We're now in the After Dark segment, where we can keep going if we want to. We can go offline if we want to. But I need to pick a winner here. So let me get out my random.
Don't pick me. I've won a couple times.
Hey, you didn't ask a question on the website, buddy.
That's true.
It's better to have like the whole thing right now.
I just ordered a beer, guys.
Yeah?
It's a beer 30. It's beer 30 here in
California. Sure is. All right, our winner is Mike McCain. Mike McCain, send an email to logan@cigarfederation.com with your address and a statement certifying that you are of age to purchase and use tobacco products in your jurisdiction. All right, so what kind of beer did you order, Rick?
I don't know. They're going to surprise me.
Oh.
But you know what? I'm in the heart of wine country, but I'm not a wine guy. So, beer guy.
Where are you? I meant to ask before.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Could you give us a general idea of what part of the country you're in?
I just wake up and my handlers, my wife, my team say, you're going to be here this week, packed like this. And so I'm off and running. I know I'm in it. What?
Paso Robles.
Paso Robles.
Robles.
That's
Okay.
where I'm at. Yeah. Okay. It's halfway between San Francisco and LA.
Okay.
Okay.
Trying to get a smoke. But you know?
All right, well, thinking about wraps it up here. Rick, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. But if I can't say it one more time, look forward for the information we're going to announce next week. And I think, guys, get in line because this cigar is going to be announced. We're going to sell it, and it's going to be done before you guys get to the shop. So very exciting for us. I think everybody's going to love this cigar.
We love those kind of tidbits.
Yeah, me too. All right, thanks again, Rick. Thank you, everybody, listening or watching live. We'll be back next week with another episode of Cigar Chat, and of course on Wednesday we'll be back with sharing our pairings.